Hey everyone, Ryan here, and if you have been keeping up with our horror phobia wheel, you would know that this episode is supposed to be wreck, but it's not. And the reason for that is because I'm a dumb dumb and I deleted the audio recordings before I could edit it, so that episode is lost to the world. We will revisit wreck at some point in the future, but for now, please enjoy Rosemary's Baby, because I'm an idiot. Sorry guys, and enjoy the show.
Hey there,
You maniac!
and welcome to Horrorphobia, a spooky movie review podcast for the horror lovers and the horrorphobics alike. I'm your host, Jake. Next to me is my wife, Emily.
Hello.
Across the internet, we have our friend Ryan.
Hello.
And all the way across the slutty internet, we have our friends Ian and Jake.
Yo.
Zaza.
We are a group of lifelong friends who review horror movies. Why horror movies? Because I love them.
And I hate them.
We have a great episode for you today. On this episode, we will be reviewing Rosemary's Baby. First, we will do a movie synopsis, our spoiler-free review. Then we'll get everyone's score for the film. We will review on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being 10 being a... Then Ryan, acting as a resident scaredy cat, will rate the spook factor of the film.
Then we will begin our spoiler-filled walkthrough of the film.
I'll be providing some critical reception upon release.
And I will be providing behind-the-scenes information.
And if it applies, I'll provide production budget versus box office gross, and then we'll do our own personal likes and dislikes of the film. And then after our review, we're going to play a game. And this week's game is going to be a game called Critical Perception. So stay tuned to see what that is.
All right, and then after the game, we will go to the Horrorphobia wheel and decide next week's movie. Like I said before, this week's movie is Rosemary's Baby, 1968. Synopsis is this. The story is about a young married couple that moves into a Manhattan apartment with a dark history and nosy neighbors. The couple finds themselves pregnant, and as a consequence of that, the busybody neighbors wear out their welcome with Rosemary and with Rosemary and the child she's carrying. I just stroked out for a second.
Rosemary and the...
Did you get fucked by Satan, dude?
Yeah, dude.
Is this really happening?
Hail Satan!
All right, my review is this. Rosemary's Baby could have also been titled Gaslighting the Movie. The influence that this movie has had on horror movies since its release cannot be overstated. The overall acting in this film is very well done and believable. The perfect amount of tension is built with an exercise in patience and a wonderful attention to detail, all the while bolstered by one of the most versatile, haunting, and beautiful soundtracks I've ever heard in a film. The story is a slow burn, so much so that people may find it a little slower paced than they'd like. The movie is also a time capsule of men being shitty to women with seemingly no repercussions except for the multiple verbal and written spankings drafted by millennials in modern day. The main issue some people may have is that the movie is written and directed by a real-life sexual predator, Roman Polanski. A detail that makes most of us ask ourselves, is it possible to, or okay, to enjoy a movie made by a garbage person? In the case of this movie, for me personally, I say yes. Every person in life has good things and bad things about themselves. It's not my fault that the only redeeming quality that Polanski has is that he's a really good filmmaker. As Professor Slughorn said to Tom Riddle, there can be no light without the dark. But as for myself, I tend to stay in the light. So for this movie, The light is the amazing performance done by Mia Farrow as Rosemary. But as a millennial, I'd be remiss if I didn't say fuck Roman Polanski with a rusty dildo. But goddamn, is Rosemary's Baby an amazing and influential film? That's why I'm giving this movie 8.0 Hail Satans out of 10.
Yep.
Good points. Good points.
I don't
Can
know
you
if it's
separate the art from the artist?
yeah, I don't know if it's like good points, but I feel like it just you kind of have to talk about it because some people feel weird about watching certain movies because they're made by gross people. Like
I mean,
Jeepers Creepers is made by an also convicted pedophile, but Jeepers Creepers is a shitty movie, so I just don't watch Jeepers Creepers. But Rosemary's Baby and most other Polanski films are just very well done films.
we know how good Rosemary's Baby is. We don't know how good it is to have sex with a 13-year-old. So, I mean, we have to. So, there's always that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true.
You're not lying, I guess.
Oh shit. Okay. Well, I did not know this about the director, and we can get into this a little bit later. But first, I'll do my review.
Yeah.
So Rosemary's Baby is a flawed but charming movie. It has competent actors for the most part, especially considering the time it was made. The script is well written, almost too well. The conversations are so realistic, it's almost boring, like someone butt dialed you, but they're not talking shit or having sex. And it's a very long and slow paced movie while simultaneously giving you whiplash with the quickness of the scene changes. In my opinion, the first half of the movie is almost unbearable. However, it's necessary to get us to the back nine where the real raw meat of the film is presented. Rosemary's gradual loss of control coincides with her getting closer to uncovering the mystery, and when it all comes to a head, the extent of the gaslighting goes all the way back to the snooze fest that is the first half. Now, ignore everything I just said and just know it's a good movie that could have been better if it wasn't for that god awful haircut. And I'm going to give it a 6.4 silly women reading books.
All right. So, Emily, this was your movie this week.
Yeah.
So, what are you giving this movie?
I give this movie 8.5 spontaneous Vidal Sassoons. This is my pick.
Basically, well, Ryan's was reading women reading books, so
Yeah.
I guess not exactly the same.
The haircut was in the review.
Yeah,
I did. Yeah, I mentioned the haircut in the review. That's why. What did you? How do you pronounce that again? What do you say?
Is that how you say it? Vidal Sassoon?
Yeah.
Is that French?
I don't know. That's like the
It's the
magazine
name.
or the
It's
name
the
of
guy,
the
okay.
the
blog.
guy who did the hairstyles in this movie. He did the style.
Oh.
He's the actual stylist in this movie.
Oh, nice. They just shouted him out
Interesting.
right in the movie. It
Mhm.
looks like that.
Sure.
It looks like
I'm
a
sure
book.
he's long dead by now.
Oh,
I'm
absolutely.
yeah. I don't know why I never thought this movie was. I mean, it's slow paced in the middle of the movie, but I've always loved this because I think it's so beautiful and it is for the time and the genre in the when did this come out? 68.
68.
Like usually their more higher brow horror is a bigger snooze fest than what I feel like this is. So I think it's beautiful. Yeah, and I think that the acting is really good in my opinion.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, I guess I understand what Ryan's saying about the pacing, but
Yeah, oh yeah.
It's the 60s, though.
Yeah.
yeah. Either way, Ian, what are you giving this film?
So I just finished watching this movie about 30 minutes ago. So I don't have
Fresh.
a ton written out, yeah. But it's definitely a slow burn horror.
Yeah.
But it's full of paranoia and I love a good culty witchy movie.
Mhm.
So I'm going to give this 7.6 raw meat dinners.
Oh, yeah,
Tasty.
that's right.
Heard
That's
about
right.
that.
Just as raw as your thoughts about this film right now.
Exactly. I'm still yeah.
All right. So Jake, what are you giving this film?
Great acting. Has aged, but I think looks great. It's very well shot. The soundtrack's awesome. I love Rosemary. Does a great convincing job, and like buys you into her like story so hard that you're rooting for like every time she makes a move and is kind of smiling at the end. You're kind of like, oh, what would I do, and what should she do, and like she's keeping you invested with with her acting. So that held the performance for me really well through some of the more slow paced parts. I'm giving it 8.4 stinky good luck charms.
Yeah, that was.
I'm just a hater. I'm a hater recently.
That's okay.
I mean,
Except with my favorite movies.
Yeah,
You
I
should
didn't
not
think
do that.
I didn't think this movie was going to be your bag. Like, if we had done this review and you told me you loved it, that would have surprised me.
It redeemed itself by the end. Going through the first half of it, I was like, good fucking God, I hate anything made before 1980. Like, it's
So arch. It's
crazy. Like, but then I see what they were doing, and like there's a lot of art to it that I think that I think almost we've lost now. You know what I mean? We've changed our direction as far as directing movies and the way that we look at things. But I think back then there's an artistic style that I don't think can be replicated.
Yeah.
So those movies have their place in history.
Yeah.
I think though too is they were just hitting their the stride for this. Like I think you could look at it the other way too, to where I mean we're all too young for that, but like this is when that storytelling kind of hit a spot between we're moving away from that from the modern movie, but like for horror it's just catching its stride into this type of movie. And you wouldn't see that until later, and how much this stuff influenced. Like I think the week we were talking about, it was just our newest release, which is The Wicker Man. Jake talked about like the movie Sticky DNA. I'm like, this movie is like sticky Satan DNA.
Yeah.
That found its way into even more influenced even more creators that are closer to our generation.
Yeah.
Right.
Wicker Man and Rosemary's Baby are very similar in two instances that they're both slow burns, and they're both the entire time the main character is getting gaslit the entire time.
Yeah.
And
Like
they both have body double ass shots.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you sure this one was a body double?
It's very obvious body double.
You sure?
The whole because they never show her face with the naked body.
Hmm.
So it like every time it like shows anything, it's like very close up and not on her face. Like to me, that's a dead giveaway. It's a body double.
Oh, okay.
I've done enough research on the subject.
At least plausible deniability.
They show her topless though.
That's not my pussy.
But from like the side, like you never see her nips.
Yeah, you do. Oh, and her nips and her face.
Yes,
In the
you never
same
see her nips and her face at the same time. You see her side boob, but no nip.
Oh.
If it is, it's quick. But yeah, this is my segment. This is
Yeah, this is weird.
Ryan's Mr. Skin Minute.
Mr. Skin.
It's an attack.
Scrawny Skin Minute.
He's like he's like Adam Savage of like finding out whether or not somebody's actually naked.
Yeah.
Body double. Mythbusters.
Instead of Adam ruins everything, it's Ryan masturbates to everything.
But he'd much prefer it actually be a celebrity.
Yeah, I can't get down to body doubles. I got another
body
name.
double bullshit. It's like deep
This
fakes.
is some poor
3 out of 10. Would
stand
not
in.
Oh shit.
All right. So I guess we've gotten everybody's score, right? Right.
Mm-hmm.
Or did I cut somebody off?
Did Ian? Oh yeah, he gave his
I
number.
think, yeah,
No,
we're all good.
no spooky score though.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So
Non-factor.
Oh, non-factor.
okay.
No
Yeah.
scare.
Is that all we're doing?
Understandable.
Well, there's just nothing. I mean, I don't know. Like
It's not scary at all to you?
No, 1.4 demon baby cribs.
Actually, you know what? Maybe we should just make this Emily's spook factor because she's a woman and this is all about Rosemary.
That's pretty spooky.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, I guess yeah. Maybe the things that are scary about this film are not scary to me because like I don't have to deal with it.
Because you would be Guy, just
Yeah.
raping her.
Yeah. Having a successful
Uh,
acting career and just being like, I'm leaving. Bye, dumb
Yeah.
pregnant woman.
True. So yeah, well, how scary was this film, Emily?
I mean, in terms of my husband's not believing me and being mean to me, that's a 5 out of 10. Spooky. I don't like that at all. But
Oh,
my
wow.
neighbors
And-
being witches, that's a 0 out of 10 spooky. That'd be exciting. I would just be upset that I was left out, you know?
Mm.
Take the
Why are
baby.
they-
Hail Satan!
She's like, you could have just asked.
Yeah.
I would have joined.
It's like
That's one of the
like
things I
in-
was thinking about when I'll. Oh, actually, I guess we'll wait till spoilers.
It's the movie where she goes, I like Spider-Man. Like he's just going to
Oh,
movies
I'm
alone.
Knocked up.
That's either yeah.
What's
It's
it
not, I was
called?
about to say it's either Knocked Up or This Is 40. I can't remember which one it is, but
Yeah.
Knocked Up. Yeah.
Like
I think the body horror alone of like the idea of being pregnant, it could be in like a comedy, and I'd be like, if I were
Yeah?
a woman, I'd be like, oh, being pregnant.
and just
Yeah.
having stabbing pains the whole time. I am terrified of having a bad pregnancy. That would be
Of course,
Yeah.
You hear
I
that,
think
Jake? Wrap it up.
it creates like the
Or just
Like-
make sure it's a good pregnancy. Like just take care of me.
Yeah.
Can't guarantee nothing.
Yeah.
it's
you
like
know?
the bedrock of this horror movie is like the low lying terror of having like a messed up pregnancy.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I was trying to think and look up before this to see if it had some sort of like a metaphor for something. I didn't end up looking it up. I just thought about it. But we started an hour before I
Mine
thought we were
Google.
going to because I forgot about the time change. So there's the time
Oh,
difference.
shit.
So I don't
gotcha.
know
Well,
if there is a metaphor or not.
We'll see. We'll see next time.
we'll find it. We'll find it while we're going.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So I guess it's not spooky. Everybody's saying it's not very spooky.
Except for Emily.
So for me,
She said it's
spooky.
kind of spooky.
It's kind of spooky.
Yeah.
I mean, you gave
5 out of
one of the factors a 0 and the other factor a 5. So I mean,
Yeah.
so okay.
Sure.
I guess we'll get into spoilers.
Oh.
So to the critical reception first before me. I'm sorry, ladies first.
Oh, yeah, Emily, talk to us about the critical reception, you
Oh my
twat.
God. So the critical reception upon release was better than I thought it was gonna be. I mean, it's good now, so I guess it was before they stopped letting horror movies into the Academy Awards and Golden Globes.
Mm.
So Ruth Gordon, which is the neighbor, right, won for Best Supporting Actress
Mhm.
for
Okay.
the Academy
that makes
Awards.
sense.
Yeah. And there's a review. Renata Adler from the New York Times said the movie, although it's pleasant, doesn't seem to work on any of its dark or powerful terms. I think this is because it's almost too extremely plausible. So they thought it was too
Realistic.
it was almost too realistic, which I don't know
Okay.
about that, but So it was pretty good.
Well, I mean, I guess in comparison to horror movies before that, it's feels too grounded.
Yeah.
Well, no, like that's what I was getting to in my review was like their conversations like that. I'm watching their conversations and I'm just like, they're just like I feel like they're just talking and someone's just like, oh, get the camera on them. Like
Yeah.
it's just a natural, everybody was just really good at conversing except for
Yeah.
one person. The dope head,
Oh.
Terry, she was a horrible actress.
Yeah, yeah.
But everybody
It's
else,
a weird
everybody else did great.
conversation. Yeah. That's why she jumped out of the building.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, you suck at acting, and she's like, no, and she just takes it back.
Ended her part.
Yeah. But yeah, so the budget was 3.2 million. But they made 10 times that.
Oh damn.
Worldwide, 33 million. And I think there wasn't a whole lot of international money coming in because this is back before we were like selling China everything. So yeah, so most of the money actually came from domestic. So yeah, 33 million about.
The Chinese would have removed the elevator guy because he's black.
Wasn't his name like Dominic or something? Like what was his Diego or what?
Diego.
I remember.
Oh yeah,
was it Diego?
Good
Yeah,
call,
yeah. And Diego, 7, please. Did people actually talk like that back then? Like, how there's like, you see these like older like 60s and 70s movies, and the way they talk is almost like the cadence of like an English accent without the actual accent.
The transatlantic accent.
Yeah,
Isn't that what it's called? I don't
Is
think
that
so.
what it is?
I think that's something that you put on when you're acting, right?
That's what I mean. It feels like a show. Like it feels
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm gonna go and get things for the house, and it's just, and
It's
the
very
guys now.
dramatic.
I know why the guys all talked the way they did, like back in the day, like when they were like, "Come on down," it's like the high voice because recording, when you're recording vocals with like older mics, it wasn't good at picking up deep voices.
Oh,
So
interesting.
you would put on like a higher voice and it would come through clearer. So they would talk like that. They'd be like, "Come on down to the movies, bring it Pascal, only a nickel."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there was a reason why they did that because
That Hitler is a bad egg. Doesn't seem like he's up to any good.
Yeah, it's that fucking Little Rascal shit. You know what I mean? Like where it's just they talk a certain way, and like I'm just like I want to go back in time and just hear people talk and see what they actually sounded like.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, I think it was a little more British because we are just becoming less British as us as a culture are here longer and
Happy
That's
4th,
true.
everyone. Fuck
Happy
yeah, let's go
4th.
America.
Did you know the Southern accent?
Goddamn
is
right,
the
we're getting less
closest-
British every minute.
The Southern accent is closer to a British accent than like us in the Northeast.
Yeah, it's closer
If
to
you really
Irish.
think about it.
Oh,
Crazy.
Okay, yeah. Well, that's because we don't have an accent. We just talk the way the words are
Perfect.
spelled.
Yeah, we're exactly how you
Like-
should say everything.
Wait, you're
because
saying
we're-
we don't have an accent?
because we're better.
No,
Yeah.
we don't. We talk the way like how it's spelled. That's how we talk.
Ah, I
Um,
see. It all makes sense now.
that's it. That's fine.
All right. Jake's looking at me with a look, so I'm gonna get into the walkthrough here.
I don't know if you're serious, but I've had that debate with people that have said that people from West New York have said that no, we don't have accents. And I'm like, yes, we do.
Oh, I'm 100% kidding.
He's
Okay.
joking.
Okay, my friend,
I'm
my
100%
friend
kidding.
Brendan was like, "No, we don't have accents," and I'm like, literally, every person on this planet has an accent to someone.
Yes,
That's how that works.
I agree.
And he's
Yes,
like, "No, we don't."
Every patient that I talk to at work is like, "You're not from round here, are you?" I'm like, "No."
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. I thought you were mad at me because I wasn't getting the walkthrough, but you
No,
just
they're
thought
just
I wasn't
people. They're
joking.
just
Okay.
death, and I was like, "Shit, is this a weird hill that Ryan's gonna die on?"
I do have a lot of weird hills I die on.
Yeah, I know. I was like,
A
debating.
a
Jake
straight
was
should
gonna
be the
the one to
flush.
kill you.
A straight should beat a flush in poker, but that's just me. But anyways, yeah, let's get into the walkthrough here. So Rosemary's Baby centers around the yeah
Just go ahead, talk about
okay
City of New
centers
York.
around the Woodhouse couple, Guy and Rosemary Woodhouse. Guy Woodhouse is a stage actor, a failing one at that, not doing very good for himself, and I don't think the wife does anything, right?
No,
She-
yeah,
She's a housewife.
She's
It's
just
the
kind of like
60s.
yeah, housewife 60s. When was the feminist movement?
I think that was
The
when was
60s.
Yeah, she didn't want any part of that.
It hadn't happened. Well, I think this technically
Well-
takes place in 1965, so I don't know.
That's
Sorry
true.
for not knowing the history of
They're on the
feminism,
East
but,
Coast.
I don't know about the-
If
Yeah.
they were in like Berkeley, I mean, they'd be all about it. They need to be on the
Okay.
other
They'd be
coast. The
dropping
East Coast.
acid.
Right.
was-
You need to go to
wasn't
Portland for
trying-
that shit.
They'd be fucking
Absolutely.
till the room stank.
The East Coast establishment was just
And they're
Run-
from
Right.
like Connecticut. Where did they say that? Like the two of them were
Like-
from
she's from Omaha,
Omaha. Oh,
He's
okay.
from Baltimore.
Gotcha.
Baltimore.
Both great cities.
Oh yeah, yeah. shout out to-
According to Mr. Mr. Guy, forgot his name.
Oh yeah.
The yeah,
Mr. Satan.
we'll get
No.
there, Mr. Harbinger of Satan.
Is it Genovium?
They're, they're moving into this apartment building in New York City. They're taking a look. What was that?
They're Castavets or whatever.
yeah, yeah.
Roman.
Oh, the Castavets. Yes, those are the Roman and I'm having a hard
Mini.
time with names tonight. Mini.
Yeah.
Should have written this shit down.
So I got you.
But
dog.
yes, so they're kind of touring this apartment. Rosemary fucking loves it,
Mhm.
and Guy's just kind of looking around, like he's acting almost like they she likes it more than he does, but it's just a price thing. It's just too expensive. That's all it is.
Yeah.
The one thing that to note here is that so there was a person that lived there before that died, and they were like, Rosemary was like, "Oh, did she die in the apartment?" He's like, "No, not in the apartment, but it does show a like on the ground, like it was all like busted in there, like by like was that by like a stairwell? So was that kind of show? Did she jump off like the stairwell or something? Like, is that what happened there?
Oh, I don't know. Not that we know.
It didn't explain it, but like, so I think there might have been a stairwell there or something, because it's like you saw the ground was all caved in there or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if like she killed herself by jumping off of that.
Yeah.
I think Satan did is like a superhero jump up the staircase.
Yeah.
Oh
Like,
yes,
up the
superhero
ground?
landing. Yes,
we all do.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
I think he went up and then had sex with a person,
Yeah.
Mm.
probably the annoying laundry lady.
Probably.
And-
Probably.
Yeah.
The pregnancy didn't take.
But either way, they're looking through it, and so they're talking about how a lot of these apartments used to be like combined and like were bigger, but they had sectioned them off into smaller units. And there was one where there's a wall where that separates the two apartments, and there's a closet there, but the closet was blocked off by this big like dresser. And they're like, "Oh, that's weird." And they're like, "Oh, it used to be over there. You can see the skid marks of where it was on the ground." So they move it, and all that was in the closet was just some towels and a vacuum cleaner. So kind of
Yeah.
odd, but nothing to note yet. But they do end up taking this apartment. And the first thing that happens is Rosemary meets this young woman, Terry, down while doing laundry in this creepy basement. She is a recovering drug addict who is being taken care of by Minnie and Roman Castavet, these elderly neighbors that live right next to the Woodhouses. So they're just kind of talking. They become instant friends, kind of. Terry has on this little necklace that has like what she calls a tannis root in it, and it smells really bad, but she says that it was given to her by the Castavets and it brings her good luck.
Yo, that shit stank.
Yeah, that shit stank real bad. Um, Now, one night, Terry kills herself, or apparently kills herself. There is a big commotion outside of the apartment building, and as Guy and Rosemary approach, they see that it is Terry, all bloody and shit, and she is wearing that same necklace with the tannis root in it.
Mm.
They're saying that they know her. And while that's happening, the elderly neighbors, the Castevets, approach. Very well-to-do looking people. At first, her hat I thought was a wig. So like you know how she had like that white like fluffy hat,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
Just had
So
like
from far away, I thought that that was supposed to be like old woman hair. Like, and as she was approaching, and I'm watching it, and I'm like, did they just put on like the shittiest old woman Spirit Halloween wig, and they're just like, call it a movie? But no, it was that. But yeah, so
She had
they
a crazy hat closet, man.
she did.
Mhm,
All
yeah.
these scarves and
A
hats
lot of
and
hat boxes.
a lot of eyeliner.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
so did my great grandma.
Yeah, they were a hat.
And both these apartments remind me so much of my great grandma.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, I mean they were
This
definitely
scene makes me think of when I found out my grandfather died.
Fail safe.
So they meet this old couple. Nothing super crazy happens. Now, Guy is a stage actor. He's done a few commercials, a couple plays. It's the same two plays that anytime someone asked about him, Rosemary's just like, he was in these two fucking plays. I don't remember what they're called.
The
Luther.
albatross.
Everyone Hates an Albatross and Luther, right?
Yeah.
and yeah,
Something
they-
like that.
no one
Whatever.
likes
Yeah,
an
that's it.
albatross, I think.
Oh.
Yeah, no one. Yeah, and so he's not doing well, and he loses a part. Like he's up for this part, and he ends up losing it to this guy.
Johnny Baumgart.
Yeah, he loses it to Donnie, and he's all like mad about it. Now the husband, Guy Woodhouse, is at first he's coming off as he's kind of a dick, but like not like it looks like he just has kind of a playful relationship
Yeah.
with Rosemary at first. Like he makes a lot of jokes or whatever, and like they just kind of laugh together, and like they obviously have a healthy sex life.
Yeah.
Let's make
And
love.
yeah. And everything like seems like okay with him, except for that he's, you know, a struggling actor.
Mhm.
They get invited over to have dinner with the Castanets. And at first, Guy is very like hesitant to this. He's like, oh, if we latch onto these old people, like we're never gonna get rid of them. And she's like, it's just gonna be a one-time thing. They go over there, and Guy is actually very
That's
up?
Roman. That's Roman Polanski talking about love interests. If I get attached to all these old broads, they're gonna hang around.
I thought you were going with like this just a one-time thing.
Oh, that too.
Yeah. But he meets, you know, Guy's actually very, very interested in the stories that the Castevet, Roman Castevet, has to tell. Especially, he's somebody who's very has a lot of worldly experiences. He's been everywhere, and he seems very interested in Guy's acting career. He's saying he can't believe he didn't get the part, and that he's seen him in a play before, just as an extra, and was like, that thing you did there with your arm, that gesture you made, it was very authentic. Like just complimenting the shit out of him, making his head all big. And so they go home, Rosemary and Guy do, and as they're there, like they're laughing about how bad the food was and shit. And like you think they're on the same page where they're just like, yeah, we're never doing that again. And Guy's just like, yeah, I'm going there tomorrow. That guy's awesome. It's great. And she's just like, what the fuck?
Cool.
But a little bit later, Guy does get the part that he had lost to Donnie because Donnie went blind out of nowhere. And he's just like, oh shit. Like I got the part, whatever. I didn't want to get it this way, but okay, cool. And so as his acting career starts flourishing, he begins to neglect Rosemary a bit, and she's feeling a little hurt by that. And he does these like real empty reassurances where he just kind of says the thing you want to hear without showing the actions.
Yeah.
Where he's just like, if you give me a chance, I'll show you, I'll change, whatever. Like, oh no, it's me. I'm sorry, it's me. I'm the one who's doing it, whatever. Like obvious gaslighting because you know that like he's just telling her these things
Yeah.
to lower her guard.
Yeah. Just to keep her going with him.
Yeah. And they decide to have a baby. So he says he's even got the schedule out. He points at the calendar. He's like, I've tracked your period. I know where we should do it. It's tonight, baby.
What a weird red flag. Like,
Yeah.
nobody knows any of that. Like,
I have no idea. Is it like, could anybody, not Emily, can any of the men here off the top of their head, can you like if a woman's period is, let's say, the 1st through the 4th of the month, when should you try to conceive? Nobody?
I'm not even sure
I'm
if I know
unfamiliar
that.
with ovulation.
Yeah, no,
honestly.
me either. No, I know it's either before or after.
I think it's the week right after, right?
Is it?
I think so. I don't
Dude,
know.
no
I should know
fucking
that,
clue.
but-
This is before.
Do we
this
know
is all
where the
before
moon is?
internet, so they know this shit a little bit better than us because they don't
I
get
get
to rely on Google.
That's true. Do you think we know less because of our dependence on the
for
internet?
sure.
Oh, we're
Oh my
definitely
goodness.
dumber.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
dumber
I
generation.
retain nothing
It's-
that's in my head.
The
Because,
only thing we have
It's
over
what-
them is we don't have lead poisoning.
yeah,
Yeah.
Or
It's
mesothelioma?
what I,
yeah. We have other things.
it's
I
what
don't
was,
even-
Oh, sorry.
I don't even know how babies are made. So
It's kind of like what I was trying to say during the Wicker Man. It was like I feel like farm kids, like when they're 10, know more than me. Like you learn so much more that sticks to you about like the natural cycles. And like me, I'm like, oh, natural cycles is what I think a lot of people like. I'm like a city kid without a city, like to where like I feel like everybody in my life was running away from that lifestyle because they were from like farms and like country lifestyles, and they're like, we're going somewhere where we don't have to know stuff like that. We don't need to. It's like we'll have modern convenience. And
Yeah.
I feel like some of that stuff just goes out the window. That would be like, oh, that would be helpful to know, but like our everyday life doesn't really. You know, there's no real need. You can get either somebody to tell you, or you can find
Yeah.
something on the internet to tell you.
I mean, on the flip side, you also know why you should not be smoking cigarettes every second of the day and what's happening. They didn't know that before.
You know not to drink when you're pregnant.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
You can drink a.
They've known that for a long
Yeah,
time.
you can drink a glass of wine when you're pregnant though,
Yeah.
and that's all they had was a glass of wine.
Is there a little bit of a risk there? Is there any percentage of a risk there?
I don't think so. I think you can have a glass of wine no matter what, as long
Yeah.
as you in moderation. I don't think it's that big of a deal when you're pregnant.
No.
There's technically risk in like drinking water, like overhydrating.
Yeah.
Like I think a doctor, it's like usually a consensus thing where it would be like, you know, you'd ask for advice and then you'd get it and be like, oh, the doctor said it was okay if like every once in a while I have like a glass of wine.
Can't take aspirin. though.
Right.
There are medications that
What
you
about
can-
baby aspirin?
Oh,
ham.
that's you have to take that every day while you have a baby. Just keep taking it. Give it to your baby.
Don't ever make a joke like that.
Okay.
So on the night that they plan to conceive, they're interrupted during a romantic dinner where Minnie comes over, their nosy neighbor. That's another thing I didn't mention. She's extremely nosy and invasive.
Yeah, and Rosemary hates it.
It's I think one of the first questions she asked when she first entered the apartment was like, how much you pay for that chair?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it was just like, ooh.
Yeah.
And then the thing that really bugged me was when she was leaving, she picked up her mail from the floor and started looking through her mail. And was just like, oh, bills. And like handed it to her. I was like, what the fuck?
That's also
Like,
so realistic though. Like there are
There are,
like,
yeah, there are certain people for sure.
everybody knows somebody like that.
Yeah.
Ian's
Yeah.
aunt.
Oh,
oh
shout out listener.
Shout out to all my family listening to this.
oh no.
Any of your family that would be listening to this knows.
Oh yeah.
I think there's a part in it's like Off the Wall or Final Cut. I think it's actually The Wall. I think it's Nobody's Home. There's a part like a skit almost in it where like I don't know. It just reminds me of Minnie's voice. I think that in the song she says, "You want to take a bath,"
Mhm.
and it just reminded me of all the like anytime it was almost like in Barbarian as it was the same way, like all the tunnel scenes where it was just like that was opening the door to Minnie in this for me. I'm like there were so many of those scenes where it's like if I had to pick one out where you're just opening like the door, your front door to this woman or her husband, I'd be like, you know,
Yeah.
that was the pacing for me. It was like how many times do I have to watch that scene?
Right. I had read, I was doing a little bit of like alternate research with this. I had read that her accent was originally supposed to be like Midwestern, I guess, like Minnesota almost or whatever. Like which would have been like even more annoying.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, how much you pay for a chair like that? Yeah. Like it's like damn.
It just
but-
sounded like she was from Green Bay.
Yeah. Well, was she just doing like a New York accent?
Yeah.
Sounded like Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah, very Brooklyn.
Mr. J.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, Minnie comes over, interrupts this date, and you see Rosemary is like, not tonight, don't let her in, don't let her in. And you hear the door shut, and she's like, thank you, he made the right decision, he's still getting laid tonight. He walks over and he's got 2 cups, mugs, or whatever of what they called chocolate mouse, is what Minnie called it. Which is like what, mousse, right? Chocolate mousse. Is that just like a hot chocolate?
No, it's like a more like a pudding, I guess, right?
Oh, is it?
It's like a really like a lighter than air pudding, like chocolate pudding.
Oh, is it almost like
I mean-
chocolate version of like whipped cream?
Yeah.
Kind of.
Kinda.
It's got a little bit thicker of a consistency,
Oh, yeah, I've never had it before, so I don't know.
but it's pretty airy. It's like an airy,
Yeah.
airy,
Wow.
gelatiny chocolate.
I'm not fancy enough, but yeah, she brings it over, and they start trying it, and Rosemary is complaining that it has a chalky undertaste, and starts not finish it. And this is kind of when you first see Guy like just start to be like a full-on dick, because he's like, you're being rude by not like eating that, whatever, and like, and he starts like gaslighting her, like, oh, nothing's ever good enough for you, and like whatever. And she does the appropriate thing, which is to just be like, oh yeah, no, if it's such a fucking big deal, I'll fucking finish. Do I get a fucking gold star now?
Yeah.
And he's like, you get 2.
Yeah.
So she finishes her chocolate mouse, but then later she grows dizzy and she passes out. Now
Sounds like
this was. Go ahead.
It sounds like whoever wrote this really knew about like date rape drugs, because
It was
Like-
written by Plansky.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like the on the
Dude knows
ship
what's up.
kind of thing
Or
is a very realistic depiction, I feel like, of even, I guess, just being drunk, but like the fact that you're
Oh, like
depicting that you're on
everything's
a ship.
moving.
Yeah.
Yeah, like she was like at first she just on a mattress in the middle of the ocean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? So this is like a dreamlike state that she's in.
Yeah.
And she's like, you can't tell whether she's just dreaming or if things are actually happening. It's all kind of running together.
Yeah.
But what you end up seeing is like she's like on a ship. She's like going on the ship. They're like Catholics only. She pulls off her wedding ring for some reason. And it's probably because she's about to cheat on her husband with
Yeah.
Satan.
Yeah.
And
I don't think it counts as her cheating on her husband.
yeah, I know. But what's actually happening is all these cultists, including like the neighbors, the Castavets, and stuff like that, are all surrounding the bed while her husband Guy is on top of her. He starts undressing her. She's still kind of with it, but like she's talking, but like she's like, "Why are you undressing me?" And he's like, "It's time to make the baby." Like, well, no. He says, "I just want to make you more comfortable or whatever."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's
And
like, I am more comfortable.
and he's like, "Well, you're about to be." Um, and all these cultists are all around, all naked, watching as apparently the literal devil rises from the depths of hell and violates her.
Yeah.
Right. All you see like his hands like kind of groping her body. Uh, a lot of prosthetic devil hands on titties.
Yeah.
just a little gently groping. Well, there's some scratching too. That's the big thing too. Is like there's like a lot of scratches. Satan
You
likes
see
it rough.
the next morning.
Right. Yeah. So she wakes up the next morning. She's completely naked and she's got like scratches all over his body. And he like holds up his hand. Guy's in the room. He's like, I already followed him down. Like, sorry, that was me. And
gross.
she's like, what the fuck? Like, she's like, while I was out, you fucked me. And he's like, we're married. What's up? Like, it was
It's
time to-
not rape, you silly woman.
Yeah. He's like, it was time to make the baby. And she's like, well, we could have done it like this morning or later tonight. It wasn't. He's like, don't worry about it. Anyways,
And
like,
then
just
accuses her of drinking cocktails and wine, and it's like her
Yeah.
fault that she
Yeah,
passed
no
out.
more getting too drunk for you, young
Yeah.
lady. So just gaslighting the fuck out of her, like always, just like almost like she is. So right off the bat, being like a housewife without like a career, dependent on her husband or whatever, she is like they're automatically putting her in a place of dependence.
Yeah.
Right. And then they're just preying on that. Like it's and then so they're cutting her off from financial. Later on they start cutting her off from like her friends, from anybody who's willing to help her, from information. Like there is just a complete seclusion of just, treating this woman like she's a baby and needs to be protected from the world and like anything, almost like there's a parental lock on anything that enters into her life.
Mm-hmm.
But so she just thinks these dreams. So the only thing you see the Satan's eyes or whatever, but you don't see like the full thing, which I think was a good move. I think sometimes it's good to just not show the full thing.
Did that scene remind you of any other scene that you've seen before?
Did for me.
Yeah, I was like, I'm sure somebody may have seen the.
It's a shot for shot, pretty much.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Fucking this is the end.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like he says the exact same line. He's like, "This
says
isn't
the
a dream.
line.
This is happening." Like the same thing.
Oh yeah! Holy shit! That's so funny.
Buckley.
Yeah, that's but when she says it, it's so funny. She says in a dream, this is happening.
Yeah.
She's obviously like pretty hurt that he violated her, or at least he thinks she did.
Yeah, he
while
tries
she was sleeping.
She like moves away when he tries to touch her during that.
Right. But she does become pregnant. She hears from her doctor, Dr. Hill, that she is pregnant, and the baby is due the last week of June. And they tell the Castavets about it, and the Castavets are like, "Oh, you got to go see our doctor. You got to go see Dr. Abraham Saperstein."
Yeah.
Is that how you pronounce it? Yeah, Saperstein.
SodaStream.
You got to go see him. He is the best. Fuck your Dr. Hill. You got to go see him. We'll get you a good rate.
Also, just such a realistic thing that you're not doing the right thing unless you're doing what the person you're talking to, like going to that.
Oh,
doctor.
yeah. Yeah. And it's like they don't have kids. How the fuck would they know? But anyways.
So the baby's due in June.
The last week of June.
That's just like Satan to take away Pride
June
Month away from
28th.
the gays.
Or
like,
give
no,
it back to
He's
them,
like,
depending on how
no,
you look
no.
at
He's
it.
like, my son's born in your month.
The month is one. Hail Satan!
Pride Month is over.
I mean, he
Oh,
made
Satan.
he made Pride Month the first month of the year. You know? No,
Yeah.
no, that's not how
Of
that
his year,
Yeah, month.
the first
one.
month of
Year-
his
year
year.
one. Yeah, yeah.
The year.
Yeah.
And I don't know what you guys are talking about because I don't know if you didn't get the memo, but it's a summer of Pride.
Oh yeah.
True.
It's the
That's
True.
true.
Pride
You're
summer.
right.
Sorry,
You're right,
guys.
Jake.
The whole summer.
Mm.
Sorry.
In
was
his hands, he's got the whole summer.
I wish I had some Bud Light. No, for real though. I fucking love Bud Light.
You love Bud Light?
I do. I always love Bud Light, and I won't stop drinking it just because Kid Rock shot a case. So
He's still selling it.
Yeah.
Absolutely, he is.
Yeah, he's still selling it.
Not
I
affecting
bought that
his
Monster
bottom
Truck.
line.
So she goes to see this doctor, and she's like, "Oh, like Dr. Hell like told me about these pills," and he's like, "Nope, no pills, no pills." And then she's like, oh, "Okay, well, already." Like, "Nope, don't read, don't read anything." And she's just like, "Wait, what?" And he's like, "Nope, just fucking."
You're a woman.
I'm gonna have.
your entire role is to carry it. That's it. Don't think.
Yeah, he's like,
He
"I'm gonna
puts her
have.
in a
Just be it.
I'm gonna have Minnie
puts her
make
in a
you a
job.
protein shake, and you're gonna drink that. And I don't trust pharmaceutical companies. You're not gonna drink the pills. The masks. We wear masks because the government wants to control our brains."
and Hail Satan.
And he'll say
Muscle milk every
Uh,
night.
it. So yeah, that was a big thing though. Is that like he's like, I don't stop, no pregnancy, don't talk to your friends because every pregnancy is different. Don't read books. Nothing's like it is in the books. Like just trying to just be like, just listen to me, nobody else.
I mean, I think a lot of doctors do
Um,
say shit like that though, because women are gonna look up things on the internet and think that they're gonna, like
Yeah, that might be true, but
They shouldn't be allowed on the internet.
yeah.
Well, yeah.
I mean, that's
Shouldn't be. Who's teaching these people how to read? Like, how do you?
That's
shouldn't-
what I'm saying.
absolutely.
I mean,
Urca
I think most
Kitchen.
doctors, like if you're pregnant, they would probably tell you don't go to WebMD and look up
Well,
this
yeah.
shit.
Do you know
First.
what education and a job is for a woman? A way out. Why the fuck did we do that? No way. Yeah.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
am
No,
tired.
guys.
I know. I can
Far enough.
Now Rosemary is experiencing these pains in her stomach a lot, and she's thinking that something's wrong. She's going to her doctor, the new doctor Abraham, about it, and he's like, "It's fine, just keep taking your vitamins, not the pills though, those shakes." And so she's drinking these fucking milkshakes. It kind of just looks like a like melted cookies and cream ice cream,
Yeah.
Mm,
like what she's drinking,
Or bird shit.
or bird shit.
Yeah.
Interchangeable, really.
yeah.
I do like cookies
Uh,
and cream.
You
Cookies
do.
and cream
Mhm.
is absolutely fantastic. But so Rosemary is getting fucked up, like slowly. She's like through the abdominal pains are the first thing, but then she starts losing weight. She gets these like bags under her eyes. She cuts her hair. She looks like shit. And aside from all, she's looking in the mirror at like how bad she looks physically. Like her cheekbones are showing. She's got these bags or whatever, but she's got this short haircut. And she comes out to Guy, her husband, and she's like, "I look terrible." He's like, "You're fine except for that haircut."
Yeah.
She looks
You
like
asked-
the I like turtles. Okay. She's so gaunt. Almost looks like face paint.
yeah, and so there's a dude named Hutch, which is this old guy that's like a family friend of them that he's like really into, like, he had done research on all like the weird shit. He earlier in the movie he was having dinner with the couple, and he had mentioned to them about like all like the kind of like unfortunate happenings that have happened at this particular apartment building that they live in.
Yeah.
And he had looked further into it. and he wanted to talk to Rosemary about it. So he calls her up and he's like, "Hey, Rosemary, like I'm gonna be here at this time. Like we should talk." And she's like, "What's it about?" "I can't tell you. Just we'll talk about it then." Uh, well, the next day she goes to show up. He's not there, and she goes to call for him, and they're like, "Oh yeah, he's in a coma. Uh, sorry." And right where she was supposed to meet him, fucking Minnie shows up.
Yeah. Yep.
And Minnie's just like, "Oh, hey, what a coincidence! Oh, I'm doing Christmas shopping. Oh, what a world, what a world!" And she's just like, obviously distraught from like her friend Hutch here, like going into a coma, and she's like, "Oh, let's go. You just need some sleep. Let's go home. Let's go home." And they bring her back there. Rosemary is dealing with this pain for months. She can't take it anymore, and she's like, "My fucking Dr. Abraham sucks. I'm gonna go see Dr. Hill again." And Guy is like, "No, the fuck you're not," and starts controlling her in that way, even controlling the like. That is like, like imagine someone telling you, "No, you can't go see a
Yeah.
doctor."
Like the doctor you want to see and have any sort of
Yeah,
say on
and
like
then and then she's like, "I want to see Dr. Hill," and she's like, "Well, think," or guy was like, think about Dr. Abraham's feelings," and it's like you switched from Hill to Abraham the first time,
yeah.
and you're just switch like either way, and she freaks the fuck out, and then eventually he just settles up. Like it's almost like he's looking for an excuse. He's kind of spiraling. Like at first it's like, oh, like think about his feelings, and then it's like, okay, well, let's talk to Dr. Abraham and see what he says, like who you should go to. Okay,
Yeah.
and then it settles on like, oh, I gotta pay them both. Oh, fuck no, I'm not paying them both. Nope,
Yeah.
not gonna. We don't got the money for that.
Yeah.
And like she's like, well, I'm not gonna switch for real. I just like want to go get a second opinion about it or whatever. But then like as they're fighting, the pain stops,
Yeah.
and she's just like, oh, I can feel the baby moving. Like she had with this pain, she has been like terrified that like it was like a stillborn or something, or not stillborn, but miscarriage.
Mhm.
And she can feel it kicking or whatever, and she's like, holy shit, like it's alive, like she's all happy and everything's good. um 3 months later, Hutch dies. Rosemary gets a phone call saying that he's dead, but before he died, he had briefly regained consciousness and said to give her a book that was entitled "All Them Witches." It was a book about witchcraft. He wanted to make sure that before he died, she got this book. She was given a cryptic message that said the name is an anagram. So she takes the book home.
I would have
She's
never figured that out. They said
no,
name of
me
the
either.
anagram. I can't do that.
If you gave
That's
me
true.
like Google, yeah,
Yeah.
I
Like-
could have figured it
It's
out.
val-
I could have
It's
asked
Valley
Chat
Forge.
GPT and they could have figured it out for me. But
Right. Um, there is a name in the book. First, she's trying to do an anagram for the name of the book, which is All Them Witches, and she's doing all these things. It sounds wrong. But then she looks at, there's a name of a person in the book named Stephen Marcato. And she takes that name and finds out that you can make Roman Castevet with that.
Mhm.
And Stephen Marcato was the son of like this like big time Satan cult worshiper thing. And upon further reading of what's going on with these cults, there's like a lot of baby sacrifices and blood rituals and stuff mentioned. So she's like, oh shit, like if Roman Castevet is Stephen Marcato, he probably wants my baby.
yeah.
And so she tells Guy about it. He doesn't believe her. He's like, like that's fucking nonsense, whatever. And she's like, he's not gonna come anywhere near my baby. No, she's not getting any help from anybody.
Mm.
And she's kind of been cut off from her friends. You see, like she tried to have that one party before, and like her friends, like that's the only reliable like narrator she had for her own life was her friends being like, "Oh my god, like your doctor sucks. You need to go see a different doctor."
Yeah.
Like if you're hurting like that and if you've been hurting for months, like it means something's wrong.
Yeah.
And it immediately guy flipped that on her and was like, "Your friends are a bunch of fucking bitches. They don't know what they're talking about." So Rosemary's alone. She's got nobody, so she goes to her old doctor for help and explains to him the whole situation about what she thinks happening. She thinks that they've convinced Guy. She has suspicions that they've helped Guy with his career, but now all of a sudden he's got all these parts and stuff now coming up or whatever, and that she thinks that her baby is going to be in jeopardy. Dr. Hill, you think, is like a good guy. He's like, "Yeah, we're going to help you out. Come here to this room. Just go take a nap. Everything's going to be fine." And then he sells her the fuck out because when she
Yeah.
wakes up from a nap, Dr. Abraham shows up and her husband, and they're like, "You talk any more about this witch shit, you're going to a psych ward,"
Yeah.
which is brutal.
He must have. I mean, everybody keeps saying that Dr. Saperstein is a big deal, so he is otherwise a big deal. Because as soon as she mentions that he's the guy that she's seeing, he stops writing.
She's like, "Oh fuck, Saperstein."
Yeah, and
Like,
then,
"Oh fuck." Like, so it was almost like some fear. Like there was some fear to it.
yeah, like he did something to get into his position, probably in the past.
Right. So as they're escorting her home, what does she do? She just like throws a bunch of money on the ground.
And everyone just immediately like drops
Yeah,
down.
everyone's just like, "Money." they
Yeah.
they go for the money, and she runs up to her apartment and locks herself in.
Pushes Diego out or whoever. Fuck out of here.
And she locks the door. She's trying to like call her friends and stuff. Nobody's answering. But they end up coming in, big group of people. It's like Abraham and I think obviously her husband. I'm pretty sure the cast vets were there too, right? I think when they come in.
Yeah.
I'm rusty. It's been a
No,
minute.
because they left for a trip. So I don't think
Right.
you don't see them again until the end.
I totally forgot about that. So yeah, they when you think that Abraham is still on their side, how did they get them to leave on a trip? Because then wasn't it like they said that Roman Casavet was like dying? He only had like a couple months left to live or whatever.
That's what he said,
So-
and then they said that he had to go see the world or a couple other countries.
Yeah, like he was gonna go see a few more things he hadn't seen or something before he died. So that was like them leaving. So she felt safer, but then shit was gonna get worse. And she gets sedated. They break into her room while she's like holed up in there. They jab her with this needle, and she goes into labor like right then and there.
Yeah.
When she wakes up, they tell her that the baby was stillborn, that it didn't make it, and that she's just kind of being held in her room. They're still pumping her full of these pills. That was I forgot. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back a second because I thought this was funny. When Rosemary was like, "I'm not taking these shakes anymore, or these drinks or whatever," and she goes to Abraham. Now, originally, Abraham, the new doctor, was like, you should never take pills." But then when she's like, "I'm not drinking those shakes anymore," he's like, "I got some pills for you."
Yeah.
So
He's like, okay, that's
so
cool.
she's still so she's just getting like they're feeding her all this weird shit. They're keeping her drugged basically.
Yeah.
And she starts hiding the pills. Like she starts putting it in her mouth, and you see like there's like a crack in the wall where she's like kind of shoving the pills into instead of taking them. And she kind of regains her strength and consciousness, and she ends up hearing a baby crying. And she mentioned something about it to the nurse that's next to her, and she's like, "Oh, let me go like check on that." And they come back. Guy comes in, and he's like, "Oh, like that's the neighbor's baby. Like the neighbors have like a baby or whatever." And she is suspicious, obviously, She goes to the closet that we mentioned at the beginning of the movie, and there's like a door that leads into the Castavet's apartment. Now, when she walks in, there's all these paintings on the wall that are obviously like real culty shit. Wasn't one of them like a church burning or something? And
Yeah, I think it's like it either looks like it. I think it's Chartres Cathedral, which is in Chartres. But I think
yeah,
it just looks like I think it's just meant to look like a cathedral burning. I think it's
right,
just anti the Roman or Stephen Mercado is like clear he goes off on a like there's like the Pope's on TV. It was like Pope's visit to Yankee Stadium was on TV. Roman makes like an anti Catholic, anti Pope, like his
right. They're
rhetoric
very
very
anti-religious.
anti-Catholic. Yep. So
Yeah.
a lot of that just that imagery ties into the whole Satan thing.
Mm-hmm. And earlier when they went there the first time, she had mentioned like why did they take pictures down off their walls, because you could see that there was like spots where pictures like there was the wall was lighter, there was hooks on the walls. Well, these were the pictures that were taken down, was like very like Satan-y looking paintings that were up in the wall.
Yeah.
She rounds the corner and there's just a big group of people that are all kind of like at this like it's in the Castavet's apartment, but it looks like a party, but like a suit and tie party. And there is a crib at the very back of it that's like a black bassinet with like a curtain over it. And she's got like a knife, and like they're like, be like, hey, you can't be here. She's like, shut the fuck up. She just like walks up to the crib, and you don't see anything except for her just being terrified. And she's like, what did you do to his eyes? What did you do to his eyes? They're like, he has his father's eyes. And she's like, guys' eyes don't look like that. And they're like, yeah, uh, not the father. Satan. Satan's the dad. So you got fucked by Satan. And his name is Adrian.
Satan.
And he's gonna bring about the end to you know all fucking religious practices and whatever. So she's like freaking out and like crying. They Roman or what's the other name there?
Guy.
No, his anagram name.
Oh, Stephen.
Steven. Roman or Steven, whatever you want to call him. Steven Mercado or Roman Castavet walks up to her and is like, hey, like, you know, it's still your baby. You know, like, do you want to be its mom? Like, you don't have to join the cult, but like you could like still like be its mom. And there's this woman that's like rocking the cradle like super hard, and she like slowly approaches Rosemary, and Rosemary approaches, and she's like, you're rocking it too fast, like that's why he's crying.
You're doing a
She's
bad
like, get the fuck
job.
out of here.
Yeah.
You're being a bad mom. And the woman's like, get the fuck out of here. And Roman's like, let her rock it. And she goes up,
Rock and roll.
she starts slowly rocking the cradle, and like tears stream down her face, and you can see like she kind of just the maternal instincts kick in over common sense of like, yeah, this is Satan's kid, but that's my baby boy. And she just kind of smiles and looks at it, and that's the end. It just kind of pans out to yeah, more la-las.
Yeah.
La 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 la.
I love the soundtrack of this movie. I mentioned in the my written review for the film, I love the soundtrack of this movie. The soundtrack of this movie is like super versatile, super. I mean, it's definitely dated, but I don't know, like especially
It's awesome.
like the way that it like the music works when she looks at it, the baby for the first time, and just all that. And I was actually listening to it while I was writing the review, and there's really cool jazz drum parts in the soundtrack, and some of that's a dope soundtrack.
Hell yeah.
Big thumbs up.
There's like this ascending piano like that I've definitely heard used before. That it almost reminded me of the Wilhelm scream, but like it reminded me of an audio cue that I've heard before like that. It's like 4 or 5 piano notes that like ascend.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know. It was done. It wasn't done early on in the movie. It was like key parts, like 2 or 3 times at the end. There was that musical cue that I thought was really cool. And I know I've heard it before. Someone's either parodied it, or just it's become like a staple. Like I said, like the Wilhelm scream or
Mm-hmm.
something like
Very overused bit of music.
that. Mm-hmm.
So that was a very quick walkthrough. So before we move on to the game, does anybody have like a scene they want to like talk a little bit more about? Like something maybe we skipped or something that you really liked?
I know. I mean, I hit most of what I wanted in the review for the most part.
I feel like I watched the movie for the first time through your walkthrough.
Ooh.
So
He feels like a listener.
I am a listener.
One of us.
I have a question. If
Yeah.
anybody has the answer to it. So there's a couple times that like while Guy and Rosemary were in bed and they would hear a noise, the camera would pan up and you would see like a shadow on the wall, like of like something moving like on the wall. Nobody knows what that was? Okay. Because it never explains it. So
Yeah, I remember seeing that camera angle pan up, but I didn't catch anything. They had to have done that for a reason. I don't.
yeah,
I
there was
just-
something there. I didn't catch
Yeah.
it. I never looked it up. So I don't know. Wasn't
Yeah.
sure if anybody had that information. But we don't. Let us
it
know in the
seems like
comments.
Yeah. It seems when they pan up like that and it's like dream sequency, like there's religious undertones like for all of it. I think it's because those are Rosemary's visions and she has that Catholic background. So like the imagery in that is like you see like a sister superior who's like yelling at her or like in a group of girls, or like you see like I think there's like the Sistine Chapel ceiling.
Right.
And a couple other like, but it's all like subconsciously like religiously undertoned, which works. It's great for the like the overall aesthetic for the movie too. It just adds that like I don't know, duality of between like the ritual of Satanism and the ritual of the church.
Yeah, I'd love to see the opening sequence of this film, but instead of like the Rosemary's Lullaby, it's like the opening song to Oliver and Company. Just about the New York,
with the city,
about the New York City streets or whatever.
I
That'd be
can't.
funny.
I think I've
Wasn't
seen that,
that
movie
written
one
by
time.
like? Wasn't that like the song, like the music in that written by like what's his face? I don't know.
Billy Joel was one of them. I know.
Billy Joel.
I feel like there were a few other big names. Huey Lewis did some of the songs, I think, too.
Huh. Okay.
So Roman Polanski, sex offender or like predator or like rapist?
No, he's
convicted.
He's not able to be in the United States anymore because he's been in like Paris for
bunker down in France.
Yeah,
France.
Well, I'm saying, did he fuck a kid or did he rape a girl?
I think he raped a child.
Yeah, it was like a 13-year-old or something.
Yeah, it was like a 13-year-old girl.
Best of both worlds. Okay.
Yeah, and and then his
scumbag.
Yeah, and then his wife died. And I was listening to
that's a whole nother story.
Well, I was listening to the audiobook Chaos. It's about the Operation Paper or Operation fuck, I can't think of the name of the operation.
Mockingbird?
I don't know. But it's like Charles Manson, the CIA connection with dosing people with LSD and stuff like that. So there's
MK Ultra.
MK Ultra, that's it. It talks about how that they found a video of Sharon Tate being abused by two men, and they were assuming that Polanski was the filmer. I mean, it's a conspiracy theory book, so I mean, take it with a grain of salt. But either way, I already know Polanski's a piece of shit, so I believe it anyway.
Was it just
Yeah.
his? It was his filming style. Like that's what they could tell.
They're like, it was shot really well, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just in the background, like la 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 la. La.
yeah. But yeah,
I feel like
fuck Polanski.
a lot of stuff in the 60s has that subtext of like, we're looking back at it now, and I almost always look at everything in that era like as like the high water CIA, MK Ultra, like Cold War like programming. It's like where we like put like the shit we learned from propaganda in World War II to like its best use.
Yeah.
I feel like was like 20 years after the war, when it's like, oh, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that we really mastered how to fracture the mind
Yeah.
during this time. So like looking back like at these movies through that lens, there's like just so much more to see, or the music, or
Yeah.
just all like like you were talking about, like the like Helter Skelter type stuff, to where it's like you can look back at all of that stuff through like a conspiracy lens and be like, was it all connected?
Yeah. Polanski's in such
Where
a
did they all go?
Polanski's in such a weird space in our culture. Just he's kind of like Woody Allen, which there's that connection with Mia Farrow, but of being known as had always been known as being a piece of shit and like a garbage person, but they make really good movies that are undeniably great. And so because not just this movie, I also love The Pianist, and I love Carnage. I don't know, like Polanski's made some great movies, but he's
So good.
but he's also a garbage person predator. Like it's hard as a society that wants to have every celebrity be like Saint Keanu and just be a perfect person that treats everybody right, but that's just not the world we live
It's
in.
the Michael Jackson complex.
Yeah.
Like,
he made Thriller. Fucked kids.
but they will never stop playing Michael Jackson on the radio.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. And I know whether you believe what he did or not, it doesn't matter. Like he had reached a level of stardom so powerful that he could have done anything.
Yeah.
You could have caught him on film and they would still be playing those songs on the radio.
If your art is so good that it transcends what other sins you commit in your life, that says something about what art you've created, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't even think it's that much, though. I think just humans are like just scumbags.
Well, yeah,
It's
I
like,
think it's just,
I don't know.
if it's something you like, it's like, yeah, I mean,
it's just like, it just at a certain point you're just like, it's history. Like even like how countries are like, look at America, like on our coming up on our national holiday, our anniversary. It's like it's like, I don't know. There's so much history there. It's like it's all built on like, the more you look into history, you're like, oh, this is all like terrible war crime shit. And then you're just like,
celebrate
hey,
it. But
art from the artist.
Fireworks are cool.
Give me
though,
a
right?
hot dog. Sure, like all this freedom. I don't know. It's a whole can of worms.
No, I mean, but I do think it's true that there are certain artists that will have done heinous things, like R. Kelly, for instance. And it is true that at this point you do not hear a lot of R. Kelly played on the radio, as a consequence of what he's done.
I'm in the closet.
Yeah, but like Ryan said, Thriller is still going to be played on a lot of radio stations because it's Thriller and it's Billie Jean and it's these songs that are undeniably loved by everybody all over the world. It's not just not just our country, but there are certain artists that we're okay with kind of, once you fuck up, you kind of poo-poo you and sweep you under the rug.
I think it comes down to, is there still money to be made off of this?
Yeah.
Like, I think it's like
market forces.
Yeah, like it's like, yeah, Michael Jackson did that, but like, can we still sell it?
Yeah. And
Yeah,
honestly, out of all
can.
movies to be made by a garbage dude, what better movie to be made than Rosemary's Baby? You know,
Hail
a
Satan.
movie about everybody that's treating this woman terribly, and it's made by a guy that treats people terribly. And I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
you know,
Mhm.
it doesn't
Yeah,
make
and the thing is, she's being treated terribly, and it's presented in a way that's like it's obviously wrong.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like it's like they're not like, oh, this stupid bitch. Like, and hey, viewers, don't you agree with how we're treating this woman? It's
Yeah.
like everybody sides with Rosemary while watching the movie.
yeah, for sure.
So, yeah, I get what you're saying there. It's kind of, I wonder if it was a cover up. If he was just like, oh fuck, I got to make something to make up for what I've done.
It's like him projecting.
I think it's predated it.
Well, yeah. Well,
This,
maybe it was the other way.
I mean, they're pretty close. I mean, the pedophile stuff happened pretty soon around here. Or
I thought it was like because that was after. Or no, I don't know if that was after.
I think he was
He
at
was
least,
gone during the Tate murders.
yeah.
But I don't think he had like fled yet. I think it was like early 70s.
Yeah. Either way, it's pretty close in prox. I mean, in this because I mean this is what 67. So I mean, it was
Yeah,
within like 5 years of it. I feel like either way,
Absolutely. Yeah.
because I mean, the Tate murders weren't soon after this.
No, yeah, they were close.
Okay, so we're going to play a game now. We're going to be playing Critical Perception, which is a game where I am going to be reading Rotten Tomatoes reviews, and the rest of our cast is going to try to guess what movie they are. Emily is dealing with a personal matter at the moment, so she won't be joining us, but the rest of us are all here.
Hail Satan!
Fresh.
Boys. So,
She
wait, what?
nothing.
Okay. So we're either gonna do this until the first, like, if you guys just get a 3 on me, then that's good, or until we get bored. So the first movie is this is a fresh review, and it says, indeed, its cultural sensitivity that lies at the heart of this movie is not about serial killers, aliens, or supernatural beings. It's about the ordinary humans we know as the other because they come from somewhere else.
It's like a
Get Out.
Nope.
Can you read that again? I'm sorry.
Indeed, its cultural sensitivity that lies at the heart of this movie. It is not. Okay, I'm reading it wrong because they wrote it wrong.
Mhm.
Indeed, it is cultural sensitivity that lies at the heart of this movie. It is not about serial killers, aliens, or supernatural beings. It is about the ordinary humans we know as the other because they come from somewhere else.
Stoneheads.
cultural
Cultural.
God,
District
Jesus
9.
Christ.
I don't know.
Cultural.
That's
Okay.
a good guess.
But the thing is, it says it's not about aliens or supernatural beings.
I know,
Yeah,
but
that's-
District 9 is not about that. It's about refugees and shit.
Gotcha. All right, I'm gonna do another one here.
Cannibal
I'm not-
Holocaust.
I'm not gonna say it says the director's name. I'm not gonna say the director's name yet because it'll give it away.
Blank.
So, Blank wields a two-pronged setup that pokes at feelings of anxiety about remote communities and their link to an untamed wilderness, while also presenting characters whose impersonal drama underscores every potentially disturbing situation in the film. This was a fresh rating.
The Village.
Nope. That's a good guess, though.
The Crazies.
Nope.
I don't know. Children of the Corn.
There's that. I can't remember. It's like green. It's like a
Green Room.
movie about no. Well, that too. But like
That
the
was gonna be
Green
one of my,
Demon or Green something about the Amazon.
Green Inferno.
Like Green Inferno.
Yep.
It's not that,
Nope.
but I was just wanted to think of that movie.
It'd be a dead giveaway
Alright.
if he said the director. That's why I thought it might have been a Shyamalan.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm gonna do this one. This is what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say if you can't get it after 3 reviews, then you lose.
You
and
get the point.
I get the point.
Okay.
Okay.
Sound good?
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
and the last one is good. I'll always make it like a pretty obvious one.
Okay.
Okay.
Maybe you should get 3 points
This-
then.
No, because then it'll just be over.
Yeah, that's true.
This is a splat. This is a bad review. It says, is it a movie about grief, emasculation, mental health, spiritual awakening? The movie seems to inadvertently ask, who cares? Just watch another unnerving scene where the creepy Swedish cult does something else
Oh.
bizarre.
Midsummer.
It is
Oh.
Midsummer.
Yeah.
There you
Okay.
go.
Sure.
Yeah, guys, you got it. You got it.
Are these just rubes writing these? These is just anybody can log in?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh shit.
You just have to be able to write and have an opinion.
Well, these people can't do either, apparently. Boom.
I mean, I had trouble reading my review, so I apparently
That's true.
can't write. So I don't know what I'm talking about either.
I'm inviting people to come at us.
Yeah.
All right. Next movie. This is, I know, a self-aware film. Oh, by the way, this is a splat. This is, I know, a self-aware film. Its cliches are parodies of horror cliches generally, but to subvert a form, it should first and foremost work as an entertainment, and it most surely does not.
Cabin in the Woods.
Correct.
Yeah, I was like, yeah.
Oh my.
Boom. Motherfucker.
Nice job, dude.
Damn.
I bet
Nice.
almost every single review for that says subverting the medium. Fuckers. Go die. I think we've said that
Are you
multiple
not
times too, though. So.
entertained?
I mean, if we review Cabin in the Woods, you kind of have to talk about that. That's
Yeah,
that's what it
Right.
is.
Get a thesaurus.
It's a House of Cards movie. It wouldn't be nothing without those other cards, which are the other movies.
Okay, next movie. It is a funhouse of supernatural horror with copious blood but little violence. It's creepy, but just too darn corny at times to be the stuff of nightmares or paranoia, unless you happen to be a child. And that's actually for what it sounds like. That's a fresh review.
Final Destination.
No,
You said it's
Oh, that's
bloody
fine.
but not gory.
it says
not
with
violent.
copious blood but little violence.
Copious
It's
blood.
creepy, but just too darn
That's
corny
why-
at times to be the stuff of
That's
nightmares.
why I was thinking Final Destination.
The Shining.
Because it's not really violent. It's
Nope.
yeah, that's not that violent either.
Ian, do you have a guess on this first review?
No. No.
Is it Slither?
Mm. It's got to be a movie that Ryan would have seeked out to get a review from.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
that's what I'm.
That's why I got Cabin. in the
Hey, don't play
Yeah.
that game. It's bullshit.
Yeah.
We're playing the meta.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of.
All right. Next one. A story of fighting our personal fears and the enduring power of friendship. It is more than just a scary story. It's vestibule.
Vestigial?
Vestibule? No, it's
Vestibule?
Vestibule.
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 Vestibule, yeah.
Vestibule. Never heard that word in my life.
It's like a lobby.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a vestibule into our psyche and maybe a little into our hearts.
It.
Yeah, I was
Is
gonna
it?
say it. Yeah.
It is
Uh,
it. I need to pick harder ones.
You just gotta pick ones you haven't seen.
Okay. All right. Let me pick one I haven't seen. An exceptional thriller, a film that puts us in the shoes and in the eyes of its protagonist, as very few other productions have managed to do. Introducing us to a world of killers and cannibals and the FBI agents who chase them.
Silence of the Lambs.
Fuck!
FBI was a
Yeah.
dead kind of.
I was like,
Dracula.
yeah, I was like, it could be. I mean, it could be a lot of other serial killer movies, but
I think the eyes reference and
yeah,
the FBI put it over.
cannibals.
All right, I'm going to do
yeah.
one more to try to stump you guys.
She a great big fat person.
Yeah.
Wait, she a great big fat person.
This is a fresh review. One of the very few PG-13 horrors that actually does scare me because it feels realistic, it feels adult, and it feels like there is real weight and dramatic implications.
What was that the last few words? Real white?
Real weight.
Wait. Real white implications. If you know what I mean.
The Ring,
No.
The Grudge.
No. You only get one guess per review.
Why?
Because you just
You didn't format this at all, Ryan. You're just
I
coming up
know.
with rules as you go.
We're rolling with it.
well,
Can I get
that's
a quick reread?
Yeah. One of the very few PG-13 horrors that actually does scare me because it feels realistic, it feels adult, it feels like there's real weight and dramatic implications.
Quiet Place?
Yeah, God damn
No.
it.
Okay. Oh, that was my guess.
Peach.
Yeah, I was trying to think of PG-13.
Peach
movies.
13.
This is a splat review. This is a non-fresh review. While the melting demon people are a nifty, unsettling touch, this alleged battle for the soul of mankind is in reality more of a sidewalk scuffle between a pair of legal eagles.
Insidious? I don't.
Melting Demon.
No, sir.
Yeah, melting demon people. I don't.
Oh, wait.
Is that like Wax Museum movie?
No.
You already guessed Insidious for this one. You can't guess again.
You didn't guess the last
I just
time.
guessed that Paris Hilton movie.
Ian, were you
Wow.
going to guess the last one?
No, I was gonna say The Quiet Place too because I was trying to think of.
Yeah, but
Oh, okay.
you didn't let him.
Well, then fine. Ian gets
Yeah,
two
I
this
feel like-
round.
I feel like
the
Disturbia
Joe.
PG-13. But I don't know. I mean, a PG-13 demon-y,
Melting Demon people.
melting. Yeah, I don't know.
PG-13. Melting
Jake's
Demon
just
people.
thinking because he's just going to shove it in my ass on my next my next
Par-
one. He's gonna be like,
Paris.
oh, I got it.
Dude,
One Night in
there's a-
Paris.
There's a lot of PG-13 movies.
Yeah, I don't.
We ready for the last one?
Go ahead.
It's a splat. I'll give him credit there, but I'll also take it away just as quickly for never getting me to actually care. In fact, the only thing exercised by this movie was my interest.
Exorcism of Emily Rose?
Fuck!
I was like, it could be, yeah.
Yeah.
It could be.
That had a bad a trailer that was pretty creepy. I think.
Yeah,
Yes.
It has the their eyes like get like like black lines going like dripping underneath it or something like that, and their
And I
mouth.
kind of know it was a shit movie, so
I like.
I
That movie.
just
I like
remember-
Exorcism of Emily Rose.
I just remember this came out in 2005. I was in North Carolina. I think I was like 12 at the time or something. And I just remember seeing the trailer, and there was like a scene where there was like a car pulling away and there was
Yeah.
like a woman in the back of it.
Yeah.
And she like looks out the window and her face like stretches.
Yeah.
Like her jaw like gets like super long, and like that haunted me for weeks.
Never
Yeah.
seen it. Never seen the
So-
trailer.
It's a good movie. It's kind of like it's kind of told like a court drama. It's
Oh, that's where the legal eagle thing comes from.
Oh, I got.
I haven't seen it.
Okay,
I remember the trailer a little bit
never-
though.
that's PG-13 too.
I knew that,
Oh.
Okay.
which helped
Yeah.
as well. So
I was between that or The Possession because that's like there's so many possession movies that are PG-13 because they don't rely on gore.
and that time period, I feel like was a
Yeah,
summer movie,
Mid-
PG-13.
mid 2000s. Yeah.
Well, the good news is I feel like we got a format nailed down for that game.
Mhm.
So,
It's still fun. That's still fun. I just suck
so
at
if we ever play that again,
Yeah.
I know what I'm gonna do now. So, thanks for helping me out with that, audience.
Thanks for coming up. With
Yeah,
the
weigh
rules
in for
as
what-
we go.
For what you think the rules should be, or a point system.
it. Fix our shit.
Yeah, help us.
Right?
We are lost.
I'm always lost.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess we're gonna do the wheel.
Yeah. Let's get to the wheel. Emily's not here, but she did mention to me that she was thinking she would do Infinity Pool.
Okay.
For the wheel. So I'm just going to make the executive decision and put Infinity Pool in there for her.
Perfect.
Sorry.
Can
I'm sorry, Ian.
can I change mine?
Yes, Queen.
The Autopsy of Jane Doe.
Nice.
I like that movie a lot.
And yours was The Visit. Okay.
I think I did The Visit.
Yep.
Kind of over that idea.
Autopsy of Jane Crow. Okay. Jake, yours was High Tension.
I'm gonna leave it high tension.
Okay. I think I'm gonna stick with, or I'm gonna change mine to American Werewolf because it's on Shudder,
Oh yeah.
and it's one of my,
Ooh, yeah, we can finally use our shutter.
it's
Oh,
one
I'd
of,
love to use my shutter.
it's one of my top 5 favorite horror movies. Our Patreon pick this week is Rachel, and Rachel selected Suspiria, the 1977 Suspiria.
Oh God, another
Great
70s.
And
Oh.
Ryan, you said you're going to stick with Chillrama until we watch Chillrama, right? So
Fuck yeah, I am.
Oh, okay. I'm going to keep
That's
that
locked in until we watch it.
on the wheel. All right. So without further ado, let's spin the wheel. And it is an American Werewolf in London.
Hey.
Yes, Queen.
Haven't seen it yet. That's cool.
One of your
Monster
top
movie.
5 classic monster movie? Is that what it is?
It's I feel like my top 5 favorite horror movies are all kind of tied together as my favorite movie.
Oh, okay.
Like Evil Dead 2, The Thing, The Shining, The Exorcist. And honestly, I can't think of what the other one is.
this one.
Oh yeah, American Werewolf. And they're kind of all tied for my favorite horror movie. So I love it. So yeah, that's awesome.
All right. Cool.
So we will see you next week with our review of American Werewolf in London.
Okay. How?
London Town.
But I think I'm pretty sure I howled, but I'm pretty sure that my mic cut it out.
Yeah, cut it
Yeah.
out completely.
I mean,
It is.
Nope.
oh, nope. All right. Yeah, I'll add one in later. Okay.
All right.
Bye.
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 Mm.